Podcasting in iOS 6, the iPad clock app, reminders, enhancements, weather app is now prettier, Facebook and iOS, and Microsoft's event. It's Tuesday, June 19th, 2012, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Good morning, and welcome to yet another edition of iWake. Today's show will be mostly some thoughts from me about iOS 6. First up is podcasting. It seems Apple will be either completely removing podcasting or doing something rather special with it. I think they do the latter, as it doesn't seem likely Apple will kill off podcasting. Currently, there is no way to download podcasts with a built-in iTunes app, and there isn't a spot for it in the Music app that is in iOS 6. I haven't tried syncing podcasts to my iPod Touch yet to see if that kicks the podcasting icon into the Music app, but either way, it's noticeably absent from the OS. What I hope all of this means is that Apple will finally be doing podcasting right in iOS 6. Currently in iOS 5, you have to download an episode at a time, and so one episode at a time, and it's just not a good solution. You're stuck, file sizes below certain megabytes, all those kind of things. I'm subscribed to several podcasts and podcasting apps that automatically download episodes as they're available, and I'd hope Apple's solution does the same thing. And hopefully you won't need two apps to do podcasting. Currently you need one app to play it in, one app to download it in. The next app, the podcasting app by Apple, I hope, is just a single app that does everything in one place. It's a cool thought that I hope Apple will make come true. iOS 5 neglected enhanced AAC podcasts, and perhaps that is because they were just spending their time working on iOS 6 and their podcasting app. Either way, I'm excited to see what else comes out during the coming months in these betas, as it looks like we're going to be getting more and more functionality before the final OS hits virtual store shelves this fall. Next up is the iPad clock app. I have long awaited Apple to give us a clock app for the iPad. It's more important in my mind than the stocks or weather app, simply because I'm going to use it more. And also, I believe the iPad is a better use for an alarm or a clock than the iPhone. It's got an enormous battery that won't accidentally go dead overnight, and it also has big speakers. And the presence of an alarm coming out of an iPad will be much greater than that of an iPhone. The new app duplicates functionality found in the iPhone clock app, and it is a welcome addition. Of course, this might have been added because of Siri in the iPad 3, which integrates really nice with the clock, with timer functionality and alarm functionality. Next, in iOS 6 talk, I wanted to just mention the messages icon in iOS 6. So far in the betas, it remains the same green icon as we have today. I found this interesting because so far the messages icon in Mountain Lion is still that blue icon. I figured that Apple would try to unify these two icons to avoid confusion for its users. It seems I was wrong. In what seemed like a no-brainer prediction, Apple is going the other way. Who knows, though, perhaps this will change in the future to a unified icon before iOS actually ships this fall. Next up, I want to go through some awesome changes to the Reminders app in iOS 6. First of all, you can now change the order of the reminders with a simple drag of the triple line. An interesting change is that Apple has done away with the tiny icons, the dots at the bottom of the Reminders app. If you look at your Reminders app, it should have multiple dots at the very bottom where you're able to swipe through all of your lists. And they've changed that to now you have to swipe at the title area at the very top. If you don't, you won't be able to swipe between your lists. And they've gotten rid of the dots, and this increases the overall size of the list you're able to have. So the whole bottom is filled with lists. And this is a good thing, I think. Another big change in the Reminders app is that instead of having individual lists with the ability to sort by date, Apple's changed it to display all of your reminders in one area sorted by day due. So you're able to have like a day-by-day reminder, which is a pretty nice feature to have. You can also let's see what was I going to say here. Sorry about that. The final change is that the check boxes for overdue items are now red. Some nice changes overall to make the very basic Reminders app still very basic, but much better than it was in iOS 5. Next up is the weather app. The app got a beautiful little facelift. It is mostly the same, except for it is just more beautiful. The app uses darker blues and slightly smaller but crisper texts that are easier to read. It's hard to describe just how beautiful it looks, except to say it's a nice change that most users will appreciate. Last up in iOS news or thoughts, I should say, is the Facebook integration. I want to point out just how cool it is to have Facebook contacts and calendar events on your phone. Apple did the smart thing here and created a separate calendar in a separate group of contacts that are just for Facebook. The iOS implementation doesn't overwrite anything in your contacts or calendar, but rather is in its own self-contained world outside of your contacts and calendars. I also love how you can now tweet or post to Facebook from the notification center. The improvements here are simply awesome, and it may have me posting to Facebook more often. It's a shame, though, that I can't post photos to those services from notification center. So far, it's just text and location information. If they did add photos, that would be an interesting challenge to Instagram, as this would be direct integration in the OS itself. Overall, iOS and the Mac are rather social now, and it's pretty cool to see. Finally today, closing out the show, out of my thoughts is into Microsoft's event from yesterday. They held this super secret event in Los Angeles, and they unveiled 2 new tablets dubbed the Microsoft Surface. You know, the same name as the huge tabletop multi-touch Surface that cost like $10,000. Yeah, same name. The Microsoft Surface is a 10.6-inch tablet powered by Windows 8, coming in 2 distinctive versions, both equipped with touchscreens. One will be powered by an ARM processor. It will be more like a traditional tablet running Windows RT. The other will be powered by Intel's 22nm Ivy Bridge chips running the desktop version of Windows 8. As reported by The Verge, the Windows RT version is just 9.3 millimeters thin, weighs in at 1.5 pounds, includes a built-in kickstand, and is the first PC with a vapor-deposited magnesium case. It will ship in 32GB or 64GB versions. Microsoft's Intel-based Surface tablet will run Windows 8 Pro with a thickness of 13.5mm and a weight of 1.9 pounds. Includes USB 3.0 support. This particular version will also include magnesium casing and built-in kickstands, but will ship with either 64GB or 128GB of storage. The Intel version will include additional digital ink support through a pen that magnetizes to the body of the tablet. In addition to the tablet itself, Microsoft will sell 2 smart cover-like devices that attach magnetically to the Surface tablet. Unlike Apple's add-on, which serves only as a screen protector and as a stand, Microsoft's touch cover and type cover turn into full-sized keyboards complete with a trackpad. Microsoft says using the touch cover is twice as efficient as typing on glass, a clear shot at Apple's on-screen keyboard. Microsoft did not share any information on pricing or availability, saying both ARM and the Intel editions will be price competitive with like products. So you can expect at 32GB, you're around $600, and with the ARM one, you're going to be around $1,000, or the Intel one, you'll be around $1,000 probably for that one. Pretty cool announcements for sure. I find the keyboard thing rather intriguing, but I do think that typing on the glass isn't as slow as everyone gives it credit for, or a lack of credit for. If the apps are good on this tablet, it could be a cool and nifty tablet to have. I'm curious why they opted for the larger screen than the iPad, and that's curious because Apple generally picks out good screen sizes when they have to do that. So they tested out all sorts of sizes for iPads, and they decided upon the size they did. So I think it's kind of stupid for other people to try something else, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. Also, I find it curious they didn't announce pricing or availability really, because that's something that was kind of like an Apple event, and it's secrecy, and it was weird they didn't try to follow Apple's model in having it available kind of right away. Finally, I find it really interesting they're now competing directly with Apple by producing their own hardware and software, and they're kind of competing with OEMs that they've partnered with for a long time, and that's been their business model. So it's a big change for Microsoft, and I'll be curious to see how they do with this endeavor. Well, that's what's going on in the Apple world today. If you like this show, a couple things you can do. First, head on over to iTunes to leave a review. Secondly, head on over to youtube.com/TCHATEN. Watch the videos there. Click on the ads. I make money when you do that. So do that. And finally, if you want to support the show financially in a big way, go over to YouTube, to iWakePodcast.com/again. That's where you can subscribe to the Saturday show where I do interviews and things like that every Saturday. And it's $10 a month and a great way to support iWake. Join me tomorrow for another edition of iWake. Aloha.